Tunde ODUNLADE. What a name. Here, Tunde ODUNLADE, you are thinking of art because he's the quintessential art man, an artist of international repute, a batik artist. He's rendered on different media, and his works stay majestically in several museums around the world, including the revered Smithsonian. He's been an adjunct professor in universities abroad, taking the knowledge of his work to lots of citizens of the world. He's also an actor and a drummer and a singer. He's a performer. He is also an arts administrator, and above that, an arts patron. He's done so much in diverse ways, and we're going to be bringing you some of the milestones of his footprint on the world of the Nigerian theatre. We welcome you, Chief Tunde ODUNLADE, the son of Ile-Ife. Tell me, what excites you in the theatre? Now, let's begin from today before we go backwards. You started something in Ibadan that perhaps we had not seen since the days of the Mbari Club, the Mbari Mbayo,
Yes.
in Adamasingba.
Yes.
And that's providing a fertile ground where people can come, people of diverse interest in the arts.
Yes.
And that's the Tunde ODUNLADE Arts Gallery
Yes, sir.
in the bustling Ibadan metropolis, Bodija to be precise.
Yes, sir.
What did you think you missed that you wanted replicated here?
Thank you very much. Anything art, culture, and ultimately tourism, Ibadan has always been the center. Lagos was to reflect when Ibadan was really, the place where all these cultural and artistic development took place. You just mentioned Mbari Club. How do you talk about development of art, the roots of art in Nigeria, and forget Mbari Club, when the likes of Professor Wole Soyinka, Professor Chinua Achebe, Demazin Woko, Professor Bruce Onobrapeya, Chief Ladipo, Chief Uyibaya, Okigbo, and a host of others brought themselves together here in Ibadan at Adamasingba Mbari Club to start what will become the contemporary art and cultural development of Nigeria. And that took place back in the early 60s, to be precise, started in 1961. And ever since, those who become stars in art and cultural practice in the country pass through this section of Ibadan. And after that, what do you then see happen? Ibadan then became a place that, that appeared nothing was happening. And yet there are lots and lots of artists. And when I say artists, I mean artists in all its ramifications. Visual artists, performing artists, literary artists, even architectural artists. Because Demazin could domicile here. And so, but because there was no space where everybody could come together, apart from the University of Ibadan, the Ibadan Art Renaissance at the point, Ibadan, for instance, came at a point and came and went. And so every now and then you have these groups of people coming together, and before you know it, they disappear again like a moonlight trick. And yet, this is the place where who is who in the Nigerian contemporary art had its roots. So I said to myself, can it continue like this? And I'm one of those who don't like, complaining. I don't join the bandwagons of complaining. I just act. When I identify a problem, whatever the kind of problem it is, and wherever it is emanating from, bottom line is there is problem on the ground. And what is our problem? I identify it, and the next thing to do is to profile solution to that problem. That's the kind of person I am. So when I saw that Ibadan deserves more than it's getting in the cultural and art milieu ambient of Nigeria, I said, we need to do something. Boluwaban Sheririmba mi Alushi. Corona came in 2019. I returned to Nigeria right around that time. And we thought it was something that would come and go in 2 months, 3 months. But we were wrong. 2020, January, February, March, and this thing, started going on a very high, at a very high scale, that you could just see that it didn't appear as something that would go soon. So I said to myself, and I saw the way people were also responding to it. Would you say because of the propaganda of it? No, because Corona really exists. So you cannot say it's propaganda. Is it being blown out of proportion? Maybe. Is it going to go soon? Doesn't appear to be so. So must we then remain in our cocoon? Of course, the answer to that is no. We can't remain in our cocoon. And I could see that the way, the direction COVID-19 was going, especially around the middle of 2020, you could see that it has gotten to everybody that people are not going out. And this is all over the world. It wasn't just Nigeria. If I had gone to the US then, most borders were closed. If I had gone to the US then, nothing was happening in the US. Everybody was minding his or her life, how to stay alive. Nobody was doing anything creatively, so to say. Nobody was doing anything other than minding how coronavirus will not sweep you off the ground. So I said to myself, okay, can we do something here in Ibadan? Yes, this is the right time to bring back the glory of Ibadan. As you already know, Ibadan has all the first virtually in Africa. First television, first stadium, first high-rise building, first teaching hospital, that every country in Africa had their representative right here at UCH. I said, Ibadan is ready again to earn its first. So let's do it again. So I decided to set up this gallery. And ever since this gallery has been set up, it was opened on the 10th of December, 2020. So you can see it's something that took quite a long gestation period for it to actually come to life. So on the 10th of December, and you will remember my brother Tunde, that you were the one who was in charge of activities that opened this gallery then, in 2020. So we opened the gallery, and amazingly, over 10,000 people have visited the gallery since then. And I said, again, Ibadan.
So that reinforces your belief that you needed to act.
Yes.
Because the response has been worth the
everywhere.
while. Tell me how you got into theater and became part of those who were drafted into First Act 77.
Thank you. From when I was a little boy, I've always seen theater in me and me in theater. So much that when I was in, I think, Form 1 at the time, which was what we had then, now they have GSS 1 to SS 2. We had Form 1 through to Form 5 then. So when I was in Form 1, my first year in school, was such that all these traveling theaters, which Professor Adedeji described as Alarijo, they all came through to our school. And I meant, people like Aisho Pepe, Ogunde, Ogugbe, and a host of others like that. They all came through our schools and came through the town where my school was located. I went to Uribo Grammar School in Okotomodu. There was this town hall that all this theater group came to. And I remember my class teacher one day holding my hand and taking me to the stage. I think it was when Aisha Pepe came to perform Yawala Lubosa or something like that, if I remember well. And took me to the stage and told Aisha Pepe that please allow this boy to play drum. There was these three congas. Conga set. So they put me on the congas and I started playing and everybody was like, wow. So I knew right away, right from the onset, that there is theater in me and I can see myself in theatrical performances, in the future. So that came and went. The experience is school. And I happened to have been in the same school with a very, versatile dramatist who is of late now, Yomi Fawole. We were in the same room, as a matter of fact. So he and I were like, the Opomulero of dramatic society.
Mainframe.
In that school. The mainframe of dramatic society in that school. So all of that experience, and after that I went back to Ife to do my training as a visual artist, first and foremost with Mr. Yinka Adeyemi, which kind of placed everything on my lap in terms of studio practice. And after that I joined the University of Ife, now OAU, experimental school that was founded by Ulibaya and then funded by Ford Foundation and several other foundations like that. So I did
Ulibaya really had a lot of impact on the growth of art.
He's creating
not just art, theater. He did a lot to push that.
He did. And in fact, maybe we will still come back to that. The Mbari that metamorphosed into Mbari Unayo. Of course, it was part of the funding that Ulibaya was attracting that brought about the Mbari Club in Ibadan. And with Oladipo on his side, Oladipo took the name Mbari and ran with it, turned it into another Yoruba word. So we will go back to that. After my training at the workshop that the University of Ife organized then I came to Ibadan and joined the Ademola Onibukuta group. And of course, Ademola Onibukuta group was an associate of the Department of Theatre Arts, University of Ibadan. So I just,
gravitate
towards that. And here we are, my interest in music, my love for theater, became possible. And with that, I was able to...
This was after secondary school?
This was after secondary school and after my training as an artist.
So this must have been around
73, 74,
75.
75 was when I finished the
If
University of Ife training. Then came to Ibadan to join Ademola Onibokuta.
Onibokuta.
That was 76 to be precise. The very day Muritala was killed.
February 13,
1976. That was the very day I relocated to Ibadan and joined the Onibokuta group fully. I've been going back and forth, but this was the day I decided Ibadan is a place to stay, to live.
You are relocating.
Relocate. So I was, then I became part of the story of Onibokuta group, which was then called Ademola Onibokuta and the Gods University. And of course, Ademola Onibokuta group was part of the story at the Department of Theatre Arts, School of Drama. So I was able to gravitate to that and took part in a lot of departmental productions. Helped a lot of.
And you recollect any?
Oh yes, I recollect taking part in Dipo
Shomoye.
if I remember well.
Right.
Dipo Shomoye directed it, and I was in charge of music, for that. Then John and his brother, which Kofi Akobi, directed for his final project. Then one other one by Zulu Adigwe, and of course, the play by Uncle Tuji Ilano and then Uncle Jimmy Sholanke. I was part of the background crew. I can't think of that's Obatala. Wàá fún wa lọ́mọ wò káyé dire, ọ̀tọ̀ làwọn tí wọ́n ti kọ́ lójú, ọ̀tọ̀ làwọn tí wọ́n ti rọ lẹ́sẹ̀ o, fún wa lọ́mọ wò káyé dire. Day of the Deities. I took part in that and several other productions right in that. So it was easy towards the end of 76 when they were recruiting, when they were auditioning for Langbodo to be the drama entry for Nigeria during Festac. So all the members of Onibokuta group were invited automatically. And they just had some audition for us and we all passed the audition because everything they needed was in us. Acting, music, whatever. So I got into that, group, and we started rehearsing in Ibadan. Even though I had a house, living in a job, but they still felt like that we must be calmed, in an hotel. So Onilia Hotel, which is just at the backyard of my house, was where I was calmed. And several other.
Some people were in Davis Hotel,
KS Motel, and so on and so forth. So I was in Onilia Hotel. And guess what? Onilia Hotel was the place, was the melting pot. Sam Loco, Achilles Keru, all of those, Martin Marion, everybody, Madadzi, who were part of that, exercise. They all converged at Onilia Hotel. So we enjoyed ourselves so much.
That's right.
And so the rehearsal for Langbodo started right there. And after that, we were moved to Lagos. First, we were moved to University of Lagos and we were staying in some of the hostels, before Festac Town was ready. So by the time the Festac Town was ready, which was towards the end of 1976, we were then moved to Festac Town. And they gave each one of us a flat, and which we were made to understand that was going to be our own, property.
Who made you to understand that?
Yeah, the company, the National Drama Troupe management, told us that we are going to, each one is going to own his or her own apartment. But what then happened? At the point, the way it happened was we had some members of the troupe who were civil servants or some, workers in their different states, of which they were being given 2 naira per day, in addition to whatever their salary was, wherever they came from. But some of us who were from the private sector, we were put on scale, and I think I was on level 8, step 6, whatever, I can't quite remember. So some of those who came from these different places, when they put their 2 naira per day together with their salary from wherever they came from, they could see that they were being underpaid. Even Ebenezer, who was the smallest among us from Ihiala, one of the Okachama of Ihiala dancers, that you want to call the Atilogs. Ebenezer, I think, was on level 8. He must have been about 10, 11 years at the time. And my friend Tokumbo from Kwara State Art Council, put everything all together, he's still not handling the same amount as Ebenezer was handling.
Because it was on level 6.
Because of what level 6 where it was coming from. So this then became, problematic. And these people started making, noise. They started complaining that, look, no, you cannot. One PAPSEC from Edo State, I can't think of his name now. He was the one kind of championing that. And this started happening after FESTAC had ended. FESTAC began in January 15 and ended in February 12. But we were still kept being the National Drama Troupe and also the National Dance Troupe that was headed by Oba Gbenga Sholuga. And that troupe, so they were like the sister group.
That point where the intrigues were setting in at the plan to start the National Dance Troupe and the National Drama Group is a good place for us to stop today. Federal government had a plan to start both groups, but there were a lot of things that had not been taken into consideration and to be resolved properly. How are they resolved? Or how were they resolved? We will continue on that and more when we return with Tunde Odunlade on the next episode of the Tunde Laniyan podcast entitled The Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History. You can join us on new episodes of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History by coming on to the Tunde Laniyan podcast platform on YouTube. And you can look at the bell icon for subscribe. When you click on it, you'll be given notifications when new episodes are available. I can tell you that new episodes are available every Thursday evening on the Tunde Laniyan podcast. And we'll continue to engage with those who have made a mark on the Nigerian theatre scene in the different fields. We are talking now with Prince Tunde Odunlade, who is more known as a visual artist, but is also been involved with performance and other areas of art administration. Until then, it's bye from me.
Ojoojúmọ́ ló máa múnú mi dùn.